A lie is a lie. Just because they write it down and call it history doesn't make it the truth. We live in a world where seeing is not believing. Where only a few know what really happened.
Ready when you are.
Call of Duty. Call of Duty is a parasite that no matter how hard you try to eliminate it, it just never dies. There are 23 mainline Call of Duty games and almost 50 Call of Duty games in total if you include the side projects or remasters of said games. And the games are still coming. Every year it gets worse and worse with each installment, with more microtransactions and less actual innovating mechanics that even warrants a reason to buy the game in the first place. And in the past 7 years, I've been in and out of the Call of Duty community due to just being burnt out with being fed the same old slop I was fed the year before, but this time with Seth Rogen. Wow. But besides the breath of fresh air that was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, came another game I felt actually succeeded in being a very underrated Call of Duty game. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. A game that I feel is very much forgotten compared to the past few Call of Duty games that has come out. I feel like Cold War actually had the balls to be different with this game, with it being more of an arcade style shooting rather than a hyper realistic feel. It made shooting more pungent, but I mean that in a very good way. I also think that the bundles and skins that came with Cold War were actually appropriate for what generation this game was set in. Need a hint? I'm so nostalgic for this game simply due to the vibes I got from all the events that came with this game, as well as a lot of the maps and areas. This is also one of the best Call of Duty games for zombies. They give you a crap ton of modes to actually choose from. But today I actually want to answer one question. Is Call of Duty Cold War any good in 2025? Well, let's hop into some games and find out. Smell that air? Good. Because we weren't able to whenever this game got released.
You got everything you want. Why would you wanna be with me? I'm nothing special.
First off, I want to say, I haven't had a Call of Duty installed in a while. And why the fuck is this game so goddamn fat? 200 gigabytes for a game that's not even relevant anymore is blasphemy. Yes, I'm educated. It's weird. I haven't booted this game up in years, and even after this long, everything feels the exact same way that I left it. The music, the menu, the sound effects, all the same. It feels like it's stuck in this time capsule that just never moves. And it shows even more when you go into the bundles, guns, and characters. With maybe a few additions, everything is exactly how it was back in 2020 going into 2021. Do not judge me, I have not played Call of Duty in a couple years. I am rusty. One of the main complaints that a lot of people had about Cold War was the movement in the game. Some people thought it was too slow, some people thought it was just right. I didn't really mind. Also, I'm not somebody that bitches about a mechanic that ain't really that big, but whatever. But the main takeaway of this game is how all of these guns felt. Checkmate also wasn't my favorite map. It was a decent map, but I always kind of got annoyed because there was too many spots for people to just flank your ass. And yes, it took me a minute to actually get back in the groove of things, but overall, this game still holds up. And also that has to do with the fact that, once again, Call of Duty just used the same thing over and over and just says it's a shiny new piece of shit. But this time around, I think the shiny piece of shit was pretty damn good. Yes, it is just another Call of Duty game, but once again, the mechanics and the way that this game feels is really fun to kind of just mess around with. Now, I can't sit here and say that the guns and everything really tickle my nipples, but I do think that the guns are still pretty solid around the board. I didn't really have too many complaints with the guns. I always kind of stuck with my main few guns, and I don't even remember most of these loadouts that I even have. I just kind of pressed something and went with it. But I am happy to see that this game is still thriving after a few years. And we did win this match, but despite me not getting a lot of kills, I still had a lot of fun jumping back into this game. And neither did I ever feel like there was any really tryhards in the lobby that I did get. And I did play a few more matches in Nuketown and whatever, the snow level. But I didn't want to make this video too long, so I moved on to my main activity in Cold War: zombies. Despite it having a lot of options to choose from zombies, my favorite mode I played for hours was Outbreak's Endless option. Hopping back into this game mode felt like I never really left. Remembering what everything does and what the objectives was all so easy. Outbreak was just this chill time to me where I wasn't rushed to beat around, I wasn't constantly stressed about who would kill me next, at least in the early levels. And just running around killing mindless zombies really does take off the edge. I could have played with people, but I'm an antisocial bitch. So all alone I was. The best thing about these levels were all the small secrets you could find, and the camos in zombies were so much easier to collect. At least better than multiplayer. Also, whoever at Activision came up with the Hellhounds, I hate you. But the objective of each level is simple. Complete the main quest, optional quests, and gear up as much as you can to prepare for harder levels and see how long you can survive. I think the furthest I went was 50 to 60 by myself. But that was back when I could sit down without my back playing Twister. But I did complete one side objective and one full round of Outbreak, and I successfully exfilled. Everything about Outbreak was just mindless fun, and I wish it had gotten even more love than it did. But I really do adore this game mode. I'm happy to see that it's still fun as ever. One of my favorite things to do was ride around in the vehicles on these maps, because Activision added some bangers to the radio. And they also went with the 80s theme that they were going for. And if it's any of the modern zombies I recommend to anyone, it is definitely Cold War. Now, with all that being said, is Cold War any good in 2025? 100%. I feel Cold War had a lot to offer and would have shined so much brighter if it had been supported for longer than one lousy year. But unfortunately, that's just how the cookie crumbles at Activision nowadays.
Mr. Krabs.
Hello, I like money.
If you ever get a chance to play this game, please do. It's one of the best modern CODs that you can actually go for. But with all that being said, I appreciate you for watching if you gotten this far, and if you had, clicking the like button and subscribing is also appreciated. Comment down below, what's your favorite Call of Duty and what's something that you wish they would change in Call of Duty? For me, I wish they would just stop making them every year and just give them some time to actually blossom. But hopefully you come back and kick it with me another time. But in the meantime, make sure to stay tuned and stay chill. Peace!